Asking questions. A good question is often more important than the deck you select and the atmosphere you create, and it will help to lead you to the answers you need. Asking the right question, as clearly and precisely as possible, will guide you to the best answer. Following these 3 simple steps will help you to come up with a fitting query for the cards. Acknowledge the role that you play in your future. None of us is a slave to destiny, so take responsibility for your actions. There is nothing that will affect your future more than you do. State your desired outcome. You wouldn't be asking about something if you weren't hoping for a specific result, so put into words what you want and why. Construct your question. You are now ready to ask a thoughtful question. Phrase it in a way that makes you an active participant in your future. It is important to remember that there will never be just one perfect correct question, but selecting one that is honest and sincere is usually the best way to begin. However, there are a few tricks that are worth bearing in mind when you are constructing your question. Asking an open question is likely to provide you with an active solution to an issue or problem. If you are looking for love, rather than asking, "Will I find my soulmate?" try something along the lines of, "What can I do to bring a healthy romantic relationship into my life?" In the first instance, the answer will tend to be a simple yes or no, while in the second case, it is bound to be more comprehensive and useful. Always try to make your questions personal. It is better to avoid questions that have a third person as their subject. An example might be, "What does my boss think of me?" It is much more useful to focus on yourself and on matters that are under your own control. So, we recommend asking something like, "What can I do about my relationship with my boss?" In this case, the person under discussion is the querent. Keep it simple. The more concise the question, the more useful it will be. This is especially important when you are reading for yourself rather than for someone else. Resist the temptation to concentrate all your concerns or worries in a single reading or question. It is better to ask one simple question, followed by another, and so on. Not only will the answers become clearer, but you may begin to detect a pattern in the cards. Asking questions that start with when or why is not generally helpful. Questions beginning with what or how instead are more likely to provide practical and effective answers which are full of suggestions. For example, compare "When will I get a pay rise?" with "What can I do to get the pay rise I deserve?" The latter offers a solution that you can act on. A good start. Sometimes, you will sit before the cards without a clear idea of what to ask. You might feel nervous or confused, scared or overwhelmed. Fortunately, you will find that your tarot deck is a patient companion. In these cases, you can simply ask, "What do I need to know right now?" This is always a useful question, whatever is going on in your life at the time. Once a reading is underway, it can be a struggle to stay on the topic of the question. A card or different theme might catch your attention, and you can suddenly find that you are off on a tangent. Returning to the original question is important though, unless, of course, you decide that it is no longer relevant. Practice asking questions. Choose a question. Before you begin, take some time to think about a concise, relevant question that you want to ask. Allow your intuition to be your guide in this choice. The right setting. Look for a place where you can read the cards without being distracted or disturbed. Then sit down, take a deep breath, close your eyes, put aside all of your worries for a moment and relax. Shuffle the tarot deck. Gather together the major arcana cards of your chosen tarot deck. You can shuffle these just like a normal pack of cards, but by doing it slowly and gently, you are more likely to achieve a sense of focus and connection. Draw a card. When you feel ready, ask your question and pick out a card at random. Observe it closely and look for its meaning, referring to your reference material for meanings and bearing in mind the question you have posed. Interpret the card. Examine the card in detail, looking for any connections between the question and the keywords associated with the card. Sometimes the link will be obvious immediately, while at other times it will take a while to emerge. Until next time, farewell.